it's clear that you know, when they have fresh legs, and they appeared to have fresh legs in this game, we're a very fast football team on both sides of the ball. When we have and when we're not banged up, and we're a very physical football team. So that's I think a very good combination. Now, obviously, mixed in there, you've got to execute. If you can, you know, if you can be physical and you play smart football, and you execute, you generally have a chance to win some football games. So hopefully we'll continue to play, learn from our mistakes, continue to play better. You know, one thing that we did make strides in was penalties. You know, we basically cut it in half, and in terms of, in fact, better than that, and so, you know, that's improvement, but it's still not where we want to be in that category. So we've got more work to do there, and obviously got more work to do at a lot of other spots too. But overall, was really pleased with the performance.
Questions? Coach, Tennessee, they allow the average 185 rushing yards per game so far. How are you looking to continue rushing attack?
How are we looking to
continue rushing attack, since you had 329 yards rushing against Kansas?
Okay, how are we looking to continue the rushing attack? Well, obviously it won't be easy getting yards against these guys. They're a very physical football team. They've got good size. They've got great speed. They're very athletic. So it's going to be a chore to get things done on a regular basis. And so we're going to, you know, obviously have to find a way to get some yards on the ground. You know, we can't just make it a throwing football game. I don't think you'll have a chance against any team if you're just throwing and you're playing a very good defensive football team. But rushing yardage, we'll see, you know, how it goes. I think we've got a multiple attack. You know, our linemen are playing hard. They're playing physical. Our backs are running hard. Quarterback's running hard. You know, several ways to gain yards on the ground, but it'll be a huge chore to get that done against Tennessee.
What are your thoughts overall on the offense? I know you don't have the number one running back and receiver that you had going into the season, and you've still been able to put up a significant amount of yards. What does it say about the multiple options and weapons that you do have at disposal?
Yeah, we felt going in that, you know, certainly two strengths on our football team, especially from the offensive standpoint, was our running back core and our receiving core. You know, you miss A.J., you miss Sebastian. Hopefully Sebastian can get back. You know, he's a big target. He's got outstanding hands, great ability to jump and make the special catch, can run after the catch, and so you need those kind of guys suiting up for you. And but you know, we're thankful that we've got a really good core of receivers and running backs, and we're able to use a lot of those guys to find a way to, you know, be so far productive in the first two ball games.
Coach, what have you seen on film from Tennessee's offense, and specifically Joshua Dobbs and Jalen Hurd? How are you, I guess, trying to game plan to try and stop those two?
Well, you know, they've got a great running attack. But, you know, they're very capable of throwing as well as running, obviously. You know, they not only do they have two of the running backs that you mentioned that are big, powerful, physical running backs that are going to get yards after contact and keep the chains moving. You know, they have enough speed to certainly make the explosive run as well. And then at the quarterback position, same thing. You know, they're able to get big plays from the quarterback position. So, you know, that's what everybody will face when they face them is, number one, trying to stop their running game, and then trying to hang on in terms of the throwing game and find a way to slow them down some, and hopefully find a way to counter and put a few points on the board. But you know, that's what we're trying to establish right now is our game plan. But right now we don't have the answers yet.
How do you kind of, you know, what do you tell your team when, you know, they're going from, for the first 2 weeks you were favored, now you're pretty significant underdogs going to an SEC stadium? What is your how does your message change to the guys? What do you tell them that's any different from the first 2 weeks?
Well, you know, I think our players understand what we're all about in terms of our approach to games, you know. Certainly it's a great challenge to be able to play Tennessee, but, you know, I think our players look forward to those kind of challenges, you know, and so, you know, we'll obviously play hard, and what we need to do is play our best football and see where that where that leaves us against them, you know. And we've faced some very, very good football teams over the course of my time here. Some of those players here have played that are on our team now have played in some very big football games, and so we hope to handle it well. We'll just go out to, you know, play our best football and see where that puts us.
How do you adjust to the noise? Is there anything you can do to replicate in practice this week?
Not much. You know, we have music blaring for most of our practices all through fall camp and into the season now, and so that's you know, we're used to noise being around the snap of the ball. You know, I think from an offensive standpoint, you know, we're not truly using a cadence, and so it's more hand signals in terms of snap of the ball and a clap and so forth, and so that's designed to be able to handle the crowd noise, and so, you know, hopefully we'll be able to get the ball snapped and not have problems with crowd noise and having guys coming off the ball. Where you have trouble sometimes is communication, offensive linemen trying to communicate calls, secondary trying to yell out calls and adjustments to formations, and those kind of things, you know, are difficult obviously to overcome. But as far as the snap of the ball and that, the way we practice, I think, pretty much takes care of that.
Also, Louis Zervis, he leads the country with 4.5 field goals per game. Can you talk about his importance to your team so far?
Yeah, he's, you know, for a guy that's come in and young player, no experience, steps on the field and has gotten done what he's gotten done, you know, that's tremendous. So he's gotten off to just a great start. You know, and he's a guy that seems to be cool and collective, and is not a guy that I think he admires the challenges of the game, and so he handles pressure, I think, very well. At least he's shown that to this point. You know, there's some good and there's some bad about leading the country in field goals. You know, you want maybe less field goals, more touchdowns, and you know, that's something that obviously on both sides of the ball we've got to get much better at in terms of the red zone, defending the red zone, and then scoring more touchdowns in the red zone.
Is he an unexpected asset just from, you know, not having him last year? He just steps in, he kicks, you know.
Yeah, you know, I think Brian is very thorough and looking at who we recruit in terms of potential kicker, and so Brian has always felt that Louis would be able to handle coming in and playing right away, and stepping on the field with no experience and be able to perform for you. You know, and he's certainly done a great job of that. And you know, where we're struggling a little bit is on our kickoffs. You know, we've got to come up with a way of giving our kickoff coverage guys a little bit better chance on some of those kickoffs. You know, in terms of distance, in terms of hang time, in terms of placement of the ball, which is critical on kickoffs. So that area needs to improve.
That was the biggest issue Saturday with your kick cover, where the ball was and how deep it was,
right,
as opposed to
right.
silencing lanes.
All three of those: hang time, positioning of the ball, you know, and kicking it deep enough. You know, They had a great kick returner. We started kicking away from him. Probably should have started earlier.
At least one time earlier.
But we didn't, and so I guess we had him prove something to us. But we then adjusted, and I think that was certainly the right move to take. But you know, those guys, they play a little. It's a little bit of a guessing game back there in terms of where they're going to end up, and they can always make changes right as the ball is being approached, and so he still has a way to get his hands on the ball. But you know, it gets to be a little bit of a chess match there on that end of it. But hopefully, we need to get better in that area, and we will.
Coach, what do you know about Butch Jones, and what do you expect from him and his coaching staff going into this game?
Well, I know Butch fairly well from obviously competing against him while he was in the MAC. You know, tremendously thorough coach. You know, he leaves no stone unturned. You know, he's a guy that has energy and you know is a hardcore guy in terms of you know, wanting to play great physical football. You know, and so his demeanor, I think, carries on over to his football teams, and that's why you get the kind of teams that he has, very physical football teams. He's an excellent recruiter, and so you're going to be facing great talent when you play him, and so he's done a great job there.
Mm-hmm. And the way Appalachian State played Tennessee, do you think that has anything to do how you guys are going to go into the game, do some things that they did that bothered them on defense and or offense?
Well, you know, every college team looks at what the opponents have done against the team they're going to play, and obviously you try to make some adjustments in your game plan to maybe use some of what you've seen that's worked. You know, vary some things that you're doing that will approach what's worked, and hopefully you know, be able to get some big and explosive plays out of it, as well as continuing to pick up first downs. You know, so that's always a challenge, but and you know, there's a lot of work that goes into breaking down film, and you try to use what you can use to get yourself prepared from what you've seen.
Hmm.
What do you remember from the 2009 game down in Maryland?
Down where?
What do you
in the
Tennessee?
yeah. Oh, in Tennessee.
Yeah.
I thought of a really hard-fought football game. I thought our players played throughout the game. You know, there were some critical moments in that game. You know, had a screen pass, you know, intercepted that led to points, and you know, would you like to take that one back? You know, I think there was a fumble that we recovered, but we were running it back, and I think Noah maybe had a chance to pick up great yardage on it, but he had just stepped out, and you know, it was a replay kind of deal where, you know, it was an accurate call, but it was so close to, and you know, all those two things obviously would have helped us in the game if they'd have both of those gone our way, but it didn't, and but we did carry the game into the second half and into the fourth quarter some, and so I was pleased with the effort of our guys.
It was a night kickoff. Atmosphere was kind of rowdy. Do you remember anything about how you guys approached that or set up for that game in particular that you'll reapply for this one, even though it's a noon start and a different team?
Yeah. You know, night games can be a little tougher on you. You're sitting around on an away game. You're sitting around the hotel all day long. You'd only have so many meetings before everybody goes stir crazy. So you know, you try to get your guys out and get them moving around a little bit. If I remember correctly, I don't know that it rained during the game, but it certainly rained approaching the game, and so you know, do you prepare your team any differently for a night game with an atmosphere of you know, fans having a whole day to prepare for the game? You know, you just got to black things out. You know, you've got to be prepared to play a football game, and understanding that you know, you're playing 11 guys on the field with your 11, you know, and you're playing with your team on the sideline being into the game as well as those guys on the other side being into the game. You know, you're not playing a team plus its fans, you know, so all that gets blocked out, and you just focus on taking it always one play at a time, not let anything disturb you, whether it's momentum swings, momentum shifts, whether it's the crowd getting into the game on a fourth down play or whatever. And so you just got to be able to block some things out, have confidence in yourself, and then just play the game.
You were up after the first quarter, and it was, as you say, it was a tremendous effort on your part. Will you show some of that footage to these current guys that are going down there? They were in early high school or maybe middle school when that game occurred.
Yeah. You know, we have not done that generally in the past. You know, at times, you know, we talk about, you know, what they're getting into. You know, on Thursday we'll show them pictures of the stadium and exactly where we'll locker and how that will all work and what to expect. But as far as, you know, showing them clips of games in the past, I've not done that. There's, you know, you've only got so much time, and obviously you're trying to show every clip that you can to your players of what they've done so far this year, you know. But, you know, you remind them that, hey, you know, our program is bent on, you know, being able to play great football, and that's what we're after, and it makes no difference who you're playing. So, you know, we just go about it the same way, and obviously the opponent's going to have a lot to say about it, the outcome of the game, but that's how we go about it, and our guys have held up in the past pretty well, you know, and so we'll see how this one plays out.
Just get Chris Garrett on the phone to try to fire him.
Any questions, guys?
This doesn't pertain necessarily to OU, but I'm assuming you've seen the play of Central Michigan. The MAC came out, the Hail Mary at the end with no time left. The MAC came out and said something that shouldn't have been taking place. Do you have any thoughts on just, I guess, where things come up like that, where it seems like officials have stuff late in games? I know it happened with Minnesota last year.
It is a complicated game, and you know, so officials can get caught on occasion. Coaches can get caught on the rules on occasion. You know, it's just difficult to have all the bases covered, and I think that's why most head coaches point someone on their staff to know the rule book, be very versed in all the rules, so that when something happens, you can always point the finger at them. You know.
Do you have that person you point at?
Yes, we do. Coach Collins is our rule book guy.
Anything else, guys? Ohio football's never beaten a ranked opponent. What would it mean to you, to this program, to, if not this week, then at some point to scratch that off the list?
You know, it's all about when you play teams. You know, do teams fall out of the ranking that you've
catch them a week after they're ranked?
Yeah, you know, and
get ranked.
Exactly, and so you know, those things happen, and so I don't have a goal to go out and beat a ranked football team. My goal is to win every game, and if you do the best you can with that, hopefully along the way you've won your share of games, and you've pulled off some upsets, and although, you know, we never walk on the field feeling that we're an underdog, you know, we expect to win every football game, and I think most college teams and most coaches in the game approach it that way.
So what would a win against Tennessee do for you and your program this week?
You know, that those kind of wins get heard around the country, obviously.
Big national buzz.
Yeah. But you know, again, you've got to base it on other things than that, you know, and we do that. I think if you lay a good foundation, you know, along the way, you're going to have some special moments, and you know, they're a very good football team. They're well coached. They've really got athletes, and so it won't be easy, but we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm. And a guy like Joshua Dobbs, would you rather have him beat you with his arm or his legs if you had to pick between the two?
I'd rather he not beat us. But obviously, I think most schools go into trying to stop the run first in games. Now there are those special throwing quarterbacks that you know, you better find a way to keep that from happening. But you know they're going to get some yards in both those areas. They're just too good across the board not to be able to get rushing yards, not to be able to get passing yards.
Yeah.
But you got to find a way to just keep them from putting a lot of points on the board if you can, and find a way to get some on yourself.
Three guys nicked up in that game Saturday. Any update on Malik Irons, Maine Williams, and I guess Corey Quallen, shoulder, or any injury?
I think all three of them have a chance, but but we will see. Be able to give you more of an update as we get into the week. We have not ruled any one of those three out yet.
Any thoughts on Terrell Bash becoming the program's all-time sack leader?
You know, I think he's done it because of having excellent talent. You know, he's a very, very talented player, but he has a motor that goes all the time, man. When that ball is snapped, now he is playing hard, and he has gone from the snap to the very end of the play with everything that he's got. I like to see those kind of guys get rewarded. So I feel it's a great honor for him, and well deserved.
After the game, did you bring him aside and tell him anything, you know, congratulations or anything like that? And if you did, you know, what did you say to him?
Congratulations. You know, shook his hand, congratulated him, and you know, said it was well deserved, and he's earned it, and he knows that we appreciate what he's all about on the field. He's turning into a leader, and you know, I think that's huge too, to have a special player showing leadership, and he's doing that.
You had a chance to look at film. Greg Wyndham's day looked more impressive once you got to look at it a second time and diagnose. I get, especially early in the game, some of the reads he was making with your options.
Yeah. You know, he's getting rid of the ball quickly at times. You know, I mean, he's not indecisive. He's pretty decisive on what he's doing, and he showed that he has the arm strength that not every quarterback has. You know, he's able to make the special throw, and with certainly the kind of velocity that some throws need, he's able to do that, and so I think he's developing into a very good all-around quarterback. You know, you're able to call some running plays with him, as well as figure that he's going to have an opportunity every now and then to scramble. You know, we had so far we've had 0 sacks on the season, and it's not wood, I don't think. But he, you know, a lot of that is from the guys up front and their protection. They're doing very, very well. But he's also shown enough escapability to make him a threat as a runner when he drops back to throw. And there's been a few designed draws mixed in there too.
Also, you've had 9 receivers earn a reception for the past 2 games. What do you think that says about your offense?
Well, it says that we've got a lot of quality players as receivers, and you know, we're able to spread the ball around in our offense to where it's not a deal where we're just going to one guy first and And if you do that throughout the game, throughout the season, that guy's going to have a chance to catch 100 passes. You know, but we're able to spread things out, and I think that makes it a little more difficult in terms of coverages that you're going to be using, in terms of just trying to maybe double up one guy a fair amount of the time, because we're showing that we've got receivers across the board that can maybe cause problems.
You're a team that can run the ball obviously pretty well. Do you find it interesting that last week was the first time you've had 2 people run for over 100 yards since 2005?
You know, what has happened is we've used so many backs, and I think that's what's
spread it out.
Yeah, what's been the cause of that. You know, if you take any one of those top running backs that we've got, you know, you look at AJ, you look at Malik, you look at Dorian, you look at Poppy, you know, who we use in a lot of positions. But if you just give them the ball from the running back position, and they get the same number of snaps that running backs sometimes get, you know, we're going to have 100-yard rushers a lot of the time, and but those rushing yards get spread out amongst those guys, and I think it's a real tribute to our players and those backs, and that you know they understand that you know we're going to try to use multiple backs and get the ball to different guys, and you know, the fact that they're so team-oriented on that, I think has proven out to be a huge plus for us. And that's true at the receiver spot. You know, when you start mentioning that we use 9 receivers, or throwing the ball to 9 different receivers, same thing. You know, everybody would like to have the ball thrown to them every play, every game, but you've got to be able to accept that there's talent around you, and that talent's being used, and what we're doing is good for the program and our team.